All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our weekly TipRanks webinar with me, your host, Julie, where we go over a little bit of an update on the macroeconomic conditions and then dive into a TipRanks tool and help go through some of the features there. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the TipRanks top smart score tool, but not just that, we're also going to dive into the factors behind the smart score and exactly how that is calculated and how that works. So those are going to be our topics here today. Just all right, there. So the big news in the markets this morning, just coming out at 8:30 this morning, was the CPI data. So of course, this is our consumer price index and relates to inflation rates. So this morning, we did see the CPI data come out hotter than forecasted. So it climbed 0.4% in March, and that was the same increase as February. It did outpace the 0.3% that economists were anticipating. And on a year over year basis, we saw that climb 3.5%. So coming in a bit hotter than expected. And with that, we are seeing the NASDAQ, S&P 500, and Dow Jones futures declining this morning. So we might see a little volatility in the market here today. Also coming up this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time is going to be the FOMC meeting minutes. So that's the Federal Open Market Committee. And they're going to be going over some different information and hopefully give us some insight on plans with interest rates. So that has been a big topic this year, obviously, and seems to be a continuously moving target. So when we started the year, we were anticipating several interest rate cuts throughout the year, starting as soon as March, I think it was originally. And that target continues to get pushed back. Obviously, it is now March and we've not, or now April, March has passed, and we've not seen any rate cuts yet. They were moving the likelihood forward to the summer. And now, this meeting this afternoon, after seeing this CPI data, we'll hopefully get a bit more insight as to the plans and timing around interest rate cuts. Of course, it's the Federal Reserve's job or goal here to tame those price increases. So inflation is a big part of that. And this hotter than expected CPI could weigh a bit on those interest rate cuts. But we'll be watching for those meeting minutes this afternoon to get some more insight as to the timing and hopefully future outlook. And markets will react accordingly to that. So we'll see how things play out today. On top of that, we are kicking off Q1 earnings seasons for the year. So at the end of this week, even starting today, really, we're starting to see some more names report, and that's going to continue getting busier and busier in the next week or two. This morning, we did see Delta Airlines report their latest earnings, and they came out with record revenue, a strong earnings beat there, and saying that they expect some strong summer demand. So they're on the rise this morning. Tomorrow, we'll be hearing from CarMax and Constellation Brands. And on Friday, we start to hear from some big names in finance like JP Morgan, BlackRock, and Wells Fargo. So we're kicking off earnings seasons. Hopefully, see some strong numbers there that can overcome some of this inflation volatility as well. But with a little overview of the macro, we're going to jump right into our TipRanks tool with our TipRanks Smart Score stocks because we have a lot to go over there. So we're going to bring up our TipRanks site here. Okay, so we're going to start up here under the top Smart Score stocks. And we're going to show you this tool before we jump into how it's all calculated. So this is one of those ideas page where you can come for inspiration for different stocks. And this is going to show you stocks that are scoring a 10 out of 10 or outperform rating on the TipRanks Smart Score. And that is based on 8 key factors. And it basically helps predict which stocks are going to outperform the overall market. So when you come here, we can see this green line is Smart Score stocks compared to the average market and how they've historically outperformed over the past several years. When you scroll down below here, it's going to give you your list of stocks that currently score that 10 out of 10 Smart Score. And there's a few different filters that you can narrow this down by as well. So first being market cap, if you're wanting to look for smaller or larger companies, sector as well as far as finance, tech, utilities, if you're wanting to narrow that down, but also the top score since. So this is going to show you how long these companies have been scoring that outperform rating on the TipRanks Smart Score. If you're wanting ones that just recently joined, you can go just the last 24 hours and see what ones have maybe just started to get that outperform rating. On the flip side, you can look to ones that have been outperforming for a long time and have been on the TipRanks 10 out of 10 list here for at least 4 weeks or more. And it's going to give you your list down below. Of course, with any of our tools, you're always going to have this select columns where you can narrow down some of the information that you want to see. So let's see, you want to make sure that the stock also has a dividend, but we're not as worried about the sector right now. You can apply those columns and it's going to change your results down here. And of course, let you sort by it as well. So we can look by market cap, how long they've been scoring that top score, yearly gain, a quick little view at the weekly price chart, and a lot of different information. So it's a great way to get some different investing ideas, but you might be wondering, what is this SMART score? How is it calculated? It seems, maybe a little vague or high level there. So basically, I want to get into how we calculate that SMART score and then the different factors that play into it as well. Because we said there's 8 different factors that lead into that TipRanks SMART score. So first of all, the scoring system here, anything above an 8 to that 10 is considered an outperform. 4 to 7 is considered neutral, so it's going to perform probably in line with the market. And 1 to 3 is going to be an underperform. So that's a quick look at how we rate it there. But then there are these 8 different factors here that go into that SMART score. So first of all is the Wall Street ratings, whether it's coming in as a hold, a sell, a buy, corporate insider transactions, the financial blogger opinions, individual investor sentiment, hedge fund activity, news sentiment, technicals, and fundamentals. So to help us understand a few more of these, I'm going to go right into an example here. So let's say we're going to look at Taiwan Semiconductor, who's been scoring an outperform here for a while. On the right is where you're going to see the summary of that TipRanks Smart Score, whether it scores 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you hit show more, it's going to expand all of those different factors that are contributing to the SMART score. So this is a quick place that you can click onto any of these categories to learn more about. So at the top here, we can see it is rated a strong buy. If you were to click on that strong buy, it's going to take you right over to the analyst forecast page. So you can see the details behind it, that there's 8 current ratings, what the average price target is, and of course your detailed lists, those analyst ratings here too. Now you can also get to these pages over here on the left-hand menu. So here we're going to see the forecast, technical analysis, and if we go to more, you're going to see a few of the other options such as hedge funds and everything here. But jumping back to the first page here, I'm going to expand this again. So here we can see that quick overview that there's bullish blogger sentiment. Now, if we were to click on blogger sentiment, this is going to take us to the page that shows the breakdown behind it. Now, this scans all of the different financial blogs out on the web and puts whether the articles are bullish or bearish. So when we look at the blogger and opinion sentiment here for Taiwan Semiconductor, we can see that based on 90 different blogs in recent times, overall, it's coming out as bullish, with 83% being rated bullish, which is above the sector average as well. You're going to see the article distribution as far as where they're coming from. We have Seeking Alpha, Investor Place, Motley Fool here. And you're also going to see links to some of the more recent ones that we've been looking at. Down below, it's also going to get into the bloggers and their ratings as well, because we do track their performance based on their opinion too. So that one's pretty straightforward as well. Hedge fund trend is one that we love to look at here as well. So we can see here that it's increased by 4.4 million shares last quarter. Again, if we click on that, it's going to take us to this hedge fund activity over under the more section. So that basically means during the last quarter, overall, all the hedge funds that hold Taiwan Semiconductor, it's increased by 4.4 million. So that is very positive on the confidence signal here. It's going to show you a chart down below as far as what the stock price has been doing in relation to those hedge funds purchasing too. So you can see when the stock dropped here, we had hedge funds picking up a lot more shares as well. When we scroll down below, you're going to see that hedge fund activity, and it's going to let you know exactly what the hedge funds have been doing. So right now it's sorted by holding change. You can see More Capital increased their position by 520%. Eagle Capital with a position of nearly $600 million. So we can also sort by value reported. We have a few companies that did sell out altogether or reduce their position, and then others that added or reduced or made small changes here. So you can see exactly the firms if you want to search by the top hedge funds here with their star ranking as well and see how they've been changing their position. It'll show you who's been scooping up stock during that past quarter. And similar to that, we also have insider activity, and Taiwan Semiconductors does not have much, but I know I just spoke about Avantor the other day, and they had a lot going on. So if we go under here, we also have insider transactions, and that is going to track all the activity of any corporate, not corporate owners, CEOs, CFOs, directors, any big players in the companies. It's going to track their sales. Now, of course, this is something we've gone over a bit before, so I won't get too into the weeds with it. But we have informative or uninformative buys and sells. So an uninformative sell, as you can see in the gray here, or buy, are ones that were already set up as part of probably a compensation program where they already had a plan to sell off so many over a specific amount of time. So they don't really indicate how that insider maybe feels about the direction of the company and what's happening. Whereas these informative sells, which we can narrow down to informative buys and sells, are not ones that have been already prearranged or a part of that, say, options package or a compensation package. So they give a bit more insight as to how insiders might be feeling about the company. So when we look at ones like this, we can see that in the last 3 months, insiders had informative sells of nearly $600,000. So that would be on the negative side of things since it has decreased. If it were a positive trend, then we'd see them scooping up more shares of the company. Going back over here, another great one to look at is the crowd wisdom. And so this ties into our TipRanks smart portfolio, and that tracks, I think it's over 600,000 or more. Here we go now, 723,000 portfolios that are under the TipRanks smart portfolio, and sees who is holding Taiwan Semiconductor and have they been increasing or decreasing positions lately. So when we look at all investors, we can see overall 2.2% of portfolios hold the Taiwan Semiconductor stock, and on average, they allocate about 5.85% of their portfolio to it. In the last week, that's increased by 2% and 10% in the last 30 days. So that's a positive trend that more portfolios are adding the stock to it. We can also sort by top investors here. So just looking at 144,000 of the best performing investors on the TipRanks Smart Portfolio, that goes up a little bit more here to 4.9% holding the stock, but just a 5% increase in the last 30 days, still a very positive trend. So it shows overall the public is scooping up and paying a bit more attention to the stock. New sentiment here when we look at the SMART score is very similar to the blogger sentiment where we are scanning all those financial websites, and it's going to show you down at the bottom here the trends. So it's going to have all news where you can quickly come and check out news articles regarding the stock. You can sort by bearish or bullish news here as well. And then it's going to give you the overview. So on average, Taiwan Semiconductor is in about 46 articles a week. This week it's been about 30, so a little below average so far, but it's been very positive coverage leaning towards the bullish side. So that's going to give it that positive new sentiment there. And again, down below, you can see a past overview of how much it's been covered in the news, what the stock price has been doing, and how much has been bullish, neutral, or bearish. So that are the factors that go into the media buzz. And then down below, we get into the technicals. So here we can see positive technicals for the stock. And again, if you click on it, it's going to take you right over to the technical analysis page. And you can see that overview. You can toggle between, depending if you're a day trader or more of an investor, if you're wanting to look at the short-term periods here or go up to, say, a month. And it's going to give you the overall consensus, moving average consensus, and technical analysis. And of course, gets into a lot of those different technicals down here. And then lastly, going into our TipRanks Smart Score are the fundamentals too. This one, it's not going to click you on, so we have several different categories that you can see some of these metrics on, but it's going to highlight that return on equity and asset growth there. So those are the different factors that all make up the TipRanks Smart Score and help you know whether it's going to outperform. So again, when we're looking at this top Smart Score stock, those that score a 10 out of 10 might not have every single factor being super positive. Some might be a bit more neutral, but it means that those 10 out of 10s have a higher rating than the rest of the market. So it is that top 10% that's going to end up with that 10 out of 10 score and give that likelihood to outperform the overall market. And of course, we can always sort by those here when you're looking for different investment inspiration. So that is the quick overview here of our top smart score stocks and those 8 unique factors that go into them. If you have more questions about this, right on this top smart score stock page at the bottom is where I went into about the smart score performance. And that's where it's going to take you in and explain all those factors behind it and how that all works for you. Down below as well, they have a couple different questions here as far as how it works and what stocks have outperformed and everything. So a lot of different factors that go into that. And I think that is most we want to cover today. So let us know if you have any questions on this and what other tools you'd like us to see or what other tools you'd like to see on our TipRanks webinar. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning, and we will see you back here next Wednesday. Have a great day, guys. All right, got everybody muted here.